Today we are going to learn a new chapter from the textbook of Social and Political Life of Class 6. Chapter 6. The name of the chapter is Rural Administration. Rural Administration. Rural means village. Village administration. And already you know that our country is divided into different states. How many states are there in India presently? Presently there are 28 states and 8 union territories. So these states again divided into several districts. In Kerala, how many districts are there? 14. So these districts again divided into different taluks. These taluks again divided into different villages. So in this chapter, we are going to learn about the rural administration, village administration. And do you think how are these villages being administered? So we are going to learn about that. So in this chapter we will look at the work of 2 rural administrative officers in some detail. 2 rural administrative officers, which are the police station and revenue department. Police station and revenue department. Rural administration. And what is meant by administration? Do you know what is meant by administration? Yes, the function of a political state in exercising its governmental duties is called administration. So what is administration? The function of a political state in exercising its governmental duties. How to exercise its governmental duties is called administration. Okay, which are the major contents of this chapter? We are going to learn about police station, maintenance of land records, revenue department, and a new law, Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005. These are the important contents of this chapter. So in the beginning of the chapter, in page number 49 and 50 in the textbook, there is given a quarrel between 2 neighbors about the boundary of their fields. And all of you read that portion. Okay, page number 49 and 50. Page number 49 and 50. So after reading it, and isn't there a way by which they could have settled these disputes in a peaceful manner? Or is there any way to solve this problem? They were fighted for what? The boundary of their fields. And is there any way to solve this problem? Yes, and they can report it in the nearest police station. So firstly, we are going to study about police station. So every police station has an area that comes under its control. Every police station has an area that comes under its control. So depending the size of the village, there may be one village or 2 more villages have a police station. So depending the size of the village, maybe one village or more than one, 2 or more village have a police station. So every police station has an area that comes under its control. Then all persons in that area can report cases or inform the police about any theft, accident, injury, fight, etc. So all persons in that area, and they can report cases or inform the police about the theft, accident, injury, fight, etc. And it is the responsibility of the police of that station to inquire, investigate and take action on the cases within that area. So it is the responsibility of the police of that station to inquire, to investigate and take actions on the cases within its area. Do you think what is the work of the police? Work of the police. So now we are going to learn work of the police. Firstly, to maintain law and order in its area. To maintain law and order in that area. Then next, to register cases of theft, accident, injury, fight, etc. To register cases of theft, accident, injury, fight, etc. Then next, to inquire, investigate and take action on the cases within its area. To inquire, investigate and take action on the cases within its area. So these are the important works of the police. Which are they? To maintain law law and order in its area. To maintain law and order in its area. Then to register cases of theft, accident, injury, fights, etc. Then to inquire, investigate and take action on the cases within its area. So these are the important works of the police. Next, the person in charge of the station is called station house officer. The person in charge of the station is called station house officer. SHO. So what is the full form of SHO? Station house officer. Station house officer is the person in charge of the station. Then the superintendent of police. The superintendent of police is the in charge of all the police stations in a district. The SP, superintendent of police, is known as SP. So the SP is the in charge of all the police stations in a district. Then are there records that show who owns what land in the village? Are there any records that show who owns what land in a village? So that we are going to study under the next heading, that is maintenance of land records. Maintenance of land records. And who maintains land records in a village? Who maintains land records in a village? The Patwari. The Patwari. So measuring land and keeping land records is the main work of the Patwari. Measuring land and keeping land records is the main work of the Patwari. And Patwari is known as different names in different states. So in some villages such offices are called Lekpal. Which one? Lekpal. And in another some states it is known as Kanunka, Kanunko, and then Karamchari and village officers. And these are the different names of the Patwari. So which are the different names of the Patwari? Lekpal, Lekpal, then Kanunko, then Karamchari, after that village officer. So in our area and all, this Patwari is known as village officer. So which are the different names of the village officer? Patwari, or another one Lekpal, then Kanunko, then Karamchari. These are the different names of the village officer or Patwari. And each Patwari is responsible for a group of villages. So each Patwari or each village officer is responsible for a group of villages. And which are the works of a Patwari? Or what are the important works of Patwari? First one, the Patwari maintains and updates the records of the village. The Patwari maintains, prepare and updates the records of the village. And he is also responsible for organizing the collection of land revenue. The collection of the land revenue from the farmers and providing information to the government about the crops grown in that area. So he is also responsible, the village officer is also responsible for organizing the collection of land revenue from the farmers. The collection of land revenue from the farmers and providing information to the government. And they need to provide information to the government about the crops grown in that particular area. So these are the important work of Patwari or work of village officer. So which are the various ways of measuring land? Now we are going to learn about which are the various ways of measuring land. How we can measure the land. So in some places a long chain is used for measuring the land. So in some places a long chain is used for measuring the land. Then in other places land is compared with the measurement on the map. Some other places the land is compared with the measurement of other lands. So these are the two common ways for measuring the land. Which are they? In some places a long chain is used for measuring the land. A long chain is used for measuring the land. And in some other places land is compared with the measurements on the map. So thus we can measure the land. Okay. Then in the case of Mohan's and Jehu's, the Patwari would have measured both Mohan's and Jehu's field and compared them with the measurements on the map. And already you read the story given in the textbook, the fight between two neighbors, Mohan and Rehu. And they were fighted for what? Because of the boundary of their fields. And how the police can solve this problem? And in the case of Mohan's and Rehu's, the Patwari, the village officer, would have measured both Mohan's and Rehu's field and compared them with the measurements on the map. So if they did not match, then it would be clear that the boundary of the field has been changed. So thus they can take action and solve the issue. So with the help of the land record which is maintained by the village officer, the police can solve that problem. Then in page number 52 in the textbook, there is given a small part of the record kept by the Patwari or village officer. So page number 52 in your textbook, there is given a small record, a small part of the record kept by the Patwari or village officer. Okay, all of you look there, page number 52. So the Kasra record of the Patwari gives information regarding the map given below. There is given a part of the record, a small part of the record kept by the village officer. And this is known as Kasra record. And what is meant by Kasra record? Kasra record of all land ownership in a region. So land ownership in a region, it shows the Kasra records. The record of all land ownership in the village, in a village, is known as Kasra records. And here it identifies which plot of land is owned by whom. So the Kasra record, the part of this record that maintained by the village officer, this shows or it identifies which plot of land is owned by whom. And we can, with the help of this record, we can identify which land or which plot is owned by whom. Okay, to identify which plot of land is owned by whom. Okay, then the map and the corresponding details from the register given there. Okay, here is given the map and the corresponding details. Then next we are going to study about the revenue department. Revenue department. So senior people in this department supervise Patwari's work. So Patwari or village officers work supervised by the revenue department. Senior officers or senior people in the department, in the revenue department, supervise Patwari's work. Senior officers in the revenue department supervise Patwari's or village officers work. Then already you know that all states in India are divided into different states. Different districts. All states in India are divided into different districts. And for managing matters relating to land, these districts are further divided into which one? Taluks. Okay, taluks, tehsil, and these are the names of the subdivisions of a district. So these subdivisions of a district are known by different names such as tehsil, taluk, etc. So country is divided into different states. Country is divided into different states. These states are divided into again different districts, and districts are divided into taluks, and taluks are again divided into small villages. So at the head of the district collector and under him or her are the revenue officers and also known as tehsildar. So revenue officers is also known as tehsildar. Revenue officers is also known as tehsildar. So the district that controlled by the district collector, under the district collector tehsildars are there, revenue officers are there. The another name of the revenue officers are tehsildar. So under the tehsildar, who are there? Village officers are there. So the senior people, these tehsildar, supervise the work of the village officers. And they have to hear land disputes. They have to hear land disputes. And they also supervise the work of the Patwaris and ensure that records are properly kept and land revenue is collected. So the tehsildar supervise the work of the Patwari and ensure that records are properly kept and land revenue is collected. Then they make sure that the farmers can easily obtain a copy of their record. So The Tehsildar makes sure that the farmers can easily obtain a copy of their land record and the students can obtain their caste certificate, etc. So, the Tehsildar makes sure that the farmers can easily obtain a copy of their record, students can obtain their caste certificates, etc. So, the work of the Patwari is supervised by the Revenue Department or Tehsildars. So, what is the work of a Tehsildar? What is the work of a Tehsildar or revenue officers? First one, to hear and settle the disputes related to land. To hear and settle the disputes, the conflicts, the fights related to land. To hear and settle the disputes related to land. Then, to supervise the work of the Patwaris. To supervise the work of the village officer. To supervise the work of the village officers. Then, to ensure that land records are properly kept and land revenue is collected. To ensure that, to make sure that land records are properly kept by the village officers and land revenue is collected. Then, to ensure that the farmers can easily obtain a copy of their land record. So, to ensure that, to make sure that the farmers can easily obtain a copy of their land record. Then lastly, to providing caste certificate to the students. To providing caste certificates to the students. So, these are the important work of a Tehsildar. Which are they? To hear and settle the disputes related to land. To supervise the work of a Patwari, then to ensure that land records are properly kept and land revenue is collected, to ensure that the farmers can easily obtain a copy of their land, then to providing caste certificates to the students. So, next we are going to learn in what ways are the work of the Panchayat and the work of the Patwari related to each other. So, in what ways are the work of the Panchayat and the work of the Patwari related to each other? So, in the previous chapter already you studied about Panchayat Raj, the work of the Panchayat. So, listen Panchayat and Patwari and how these works related to each other. So, Panchayat solved the land disputes. Panchayat solved the land disputes, but Patwari maintains the land records. Patwari or village officer maintains the land records. Then the Panchayat implies the tax and revenue. The Panchayat suggests the tax and revenue. But the Patwari organizes the collection of land revenue from the farmers. So the village officer organizes the collection of land revenue from the farmers. So in this way, the work of the Patwari and the Panchayat related to each other. So the Panchayat solved the land disputes while the Patwari maintains the land records. Then the Panchayat implies the tax and revenue. The Panchayat suggests the tax and revenue while the Patwari organizes the collection of land revenue from the farmers. So, in this way, the work of the Panchayat and Patwari related to each other. So, next we are going to learn a new law, Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005. A new law, Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005. So, what is the meaning of succession? Succession, continuation, hereditary, continuation. So, the action or process of inheriting a title, office or property, etc. is known as succession. So, the action or process of inheriting a title, office or property is known as succession. Okay, continuation. Then, what is the meaning of amendment? Amendment, a minor change. A minor change is known as amendment. So, add to or subtract from the law. Add to or subtract from the law. It is known as amendment. Added to a law or rule in order to change it. Added to a law or rule in order to change it. It is known as amendment. So, Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005. So, what is it? So, till recently, in some states, Hindu women did not get a share in the family's agricultural land. So, till recently, till 2005, so in some states, Hindu women did not get a share in the family's agricultural land. So that means after the death of the father, his property was divided equally only among his sons. So after the death of the father, his property was divided equally only among his sons. But after the Hindu Succession Amendment Act, so in new law, what is the merit? Sons, daughters and their mother can get an equal share in the land. So in the new law, sons, daughters and their mothers can get an equal share in the land. So the same law will apply to all states and union territories of the country. So nowadays the sons, daughters and their mothers can get an equal share of their land. Okay. Then this law will benefit a large number of women. This law will benefit a large number of women. So this is the new law, Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005. So these are the important points in this chapter. I hope that all of you clear the chapter, read the chapter properly several times and complete the notes. Thank you.